big schools.
Yeah.
I think it's something that just sparked, the fire down here, and they started, I think, 3 or 4 people started to tailgate over there in like 1985.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like the history of it. I think it was one of Willie Milne's grandsons or somebody in that family, in that class.
Yeah.
Really like sparked the fire that lit this flame that we're now witnessing.
Yeah.
And it is phenomenal for a little school like this and a city like this to have this type of event. It is special. And because from this event, there's so many possibilities. So many things can happen. I mean, people can see enormous things taking place as a result of this. You hear people now talking about doing other projects, raising money. The school is the focus in this, the survival of the school and celebrating the legacy of the school is what's so important. I think that's what's going to keep this thing alive. And it really caught fire about 3 years ago after we did the first Grand Athletic Reunion.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a minute.
That was a call. That was a call to arms.
Oh man!
So that created that foundation that it needed to grow, and people started to reflect and look back at what a tremendous history this little institution has put together.
We will be celebrating our 90th graduation.
That's phenomenal.
Coming up this May. 90 years. And talking to Dee Dee several days ago, she told me some 80 generations. I mean, each of the classes,
right? Some
80 generations. I don't know how many of them totally registered now for the tailgating. That's 80 generations back, 2 or 3 days ago. I don't know how many it is now.
Well, Miss Bernice is 90.
Yeah.
And
Bernice Richardson.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Miss Nettles, Celestine Nettles, and some of the others. Miss Jessie May. I'm sure I'm overlooking somebody, but don't hold it against me if I am.
Yeah.
But those people are still willing participants.
Yeah.
At 90.
90 years, man.
Unbelievable.
That's awesome. And to get according to the 80 classes, that's something else.
That's incredible. I mean, that's
Before
probably one.
90. That's something else.
That's one of the greatest historic stories of any people.
Yeah.
Black, white, anybody to survive as an independent African American, totally African American institution, and to face the odds that these small schools face now with budgeting and just constraints, and to still survive, and not only survive but thirst. Look like we're doing more stuff now than we ever done.
Yeah. We got a student body. Our student body is not 300 students.
I know.
We close to 300, but we like 250, 260, something like that. And that's awesome for a small school to still be striving like we are. There's another aspect that's taking place in the tailgating, and that's the political aspect.
Yes.
We will have at this tailgating celebration the Republicans and Democrats right there in the same square. Talk a little bit.
Well, that's when you talk about what this whole thing is about. That is Martin's dream, the beloved community. And I'm not saying that we're there yet, but it sure looks good, and it sure feels like something has happened, and we have come full circle to be able to do that. I've had some people say, well, why did you allow these people to participate?
Why not?
Why not? Well, I mean, of course, we are bipartisan, non-discriminatory organization, and we are a community where we've been seeking the oneness that we have finally started to see. And it's unique because when they still came past that first big tailgate we had 3 years ago.
Yeah.
He was shook. He couldn't believe it. He called me immediately that evening and said, man, you guys really have something going on out there. I need to talk to you about some of the other things that we are doing. And it's all community-based stuff. Although this is, political, but that's the American democracy. We're trying to be a true democracy, and with all the crazy stuff going on in the climate right now in the country, I think for people to be civil on both sides, it's good to see. But not only that, I think I'm looking beyond just this political aspect of it to where it can grow and transcend into something greater for the community. And that's that working together that we all have always wanted to do, and to recognize that we exist, and to say that, hey, this school, I think Dee Dee was even telling me something about the playground. They had talked about the wire over there to put around the school, and she spoke with one of the Steels about it, and he said, not only will we come help, we'll build you a playground. We'll fund the playground. So we know that we have always had, issues, but we know that deep down inside we all care about the same thing. And I'm saying that to say that they care about this school, they feel part of this community, and the community is all we got. He came up there this evening and dropped off his wood, and he said, well, where are we going to be? They're coming back tomorrow to participate, cook, and do all these things. I think across the street with the Democrats, they are doing the same thing. Hey, you shake hands? May the best man. Yeah.
Shake hands and go vote.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
So I think you're seeing something that is the beginning of something good for Beatrice.
I had a situation come up in regards to registration. I was able to get in touch with her later and leave her an absentee ballot, and I saw her yesterday, and today, and I asked her, did you fill out your absentee ballot and fill it in, because you said you wouldn't be here for the election? And she said, yeah, I filled it out and mailed it. Is there anything else I'm supposed to? I said, you did it already. you already done voted. You fill that thing out and mail it in. That's it. That's all you need. But I did have another situation, Moses. We could get to the other things in a minute. But a gentleman called me, and he had 11 people that he had registered and turned in to the courthouse.
Wow.
And when he went down there to check on them, they couldn't find them.
Oh, really?
So he went through 2 or 3 things, checked in with Judge Norris and 2 or 3 other things, and 2 or 3 days, they finally showed up.
Oh.
And guess what? If he hadn't checked,
I know.
down there in the courthouse.
Well, we had a ruling in Atlanta, and you know about the Stacey Abrams issue with Kemp as the Secretary of State and the challenger for governor, was kicking out those absentee ballots because there might have been one comma or something missed in somebody's name, and it didn't match the name they had on file, so they just discarded them as voters. So the federal judge ruled against them.
Yeah, I saw that. That came out today, or was it yesterday? Today?
Yesterday.
Yeah.
So it just goes back to, we have had to fight, and that's why all those laws were put in place to protect the right to vote, because that's the most sacred thing you got. And we knew that, and it's unfortunate that the Republicans feel outnumbered and they feel on a national level, and some state houses feel that they have to do all they can to
gerrymandering all
and
stuff
cut the numbers so they have a chance to win.
Well, look here. I thank you for your aspects of your work and what we have coming up in the future over there at the tailgating site and that land that's across from JF-Shields. Some great things going to be happening for Beatrice and the surrounding area and of historic portion, and that will be unveiled later. But let's talk a little bit about the anticipated, the highly anticipated. Oh, I have to mention Mr. Bob Crawford.
Oh, the passing of the great.
Boom. Going home. Home.
The legend. He's
Bob
one of the
Crawford.
last of the final group of that era.
Yeah. Man.
I have a great Bob Crawford story.
Did you listen to the interview?
Oh, yeah.
Man. I just told him in the earlier part of the broadcast tonight about that interview and to find it on Facebook and on Sprecher and different places and listen to it. Man, he talks about the history. He go, ooh.
Well, I saw an article. Somebody was doing some research about the civil rights movement.
Yeah,
and his involvement in the early civil rights movement as a teacher and helping to register people during that era when it was difficult and dangerous to even think about registering. And he talked about that and how they organized the teachers to register people and the obstacles that they faced and the threats that they got from the board and the superintendents themselves. Direct threats.
Yeah.
But they fought. That just shows you how important it is to vote and the power of the vote.
Ooh. Oh, it's so important.
But I got to tell you a quick Bob story. He says, there was this kid, and his parents always used the word fool to describe him. So they called him fool so much that
you got me laughing.
He began to believe he was a fool. So, and they sent him on a trip. And their instructions to him was, don't you say one word to nobody because we don't want anybody to find out that you're a fool. So the kid was going from somewhere on the train, from wherever he was at, he had to take the train. And I think it was in the South, he was going north. And he said when he got to one place he was supposed to change trains. And the conductor was asking all the patrons where they were going and to see their ticket. Well, when he asked him, he didn't say anything. So the conductor looked at his coworker and said, man, that's a fool. Bob said the kid said he couldn't wait till he got back home. He said, Mom, Dad, I didn't say one word, and they still found out I was a fool. That's a great Bob Crawford. Oh my God.
You know what? When I was in the band, and he was the disciplinarian around there, and he would walk that hall, and boy, if he called you babe, and babe, where you pass?
Oh no, you don't have no pass, babe.
You got no pass, babe.
Well, you need to come on up here with me. Oh my goodness.
Man, me and Mary went up there and did the interview. Mary did the writing, I was recording the broadcast. Man, we had some fun. See, when we first started out, Mary didn't want to do it because, you know, Bobby, he be hitting that Todd and he be talking junk. So Mary didn't too much want to be messing around with the Crawford. And, but anyway, his wife, everything was going all right. And it turned out to be a powerful interview.
Oh, it was. Well, we just tell the people who he was. He was a great band director and one of our history teachers.
Mm-hmm.
And he talked about how he fought to get Black History books